Ladies and gentlemen, the lost era of comic books of the 60s to the 1980s had more than just two imprints. We had Marvel, we had the DC, but a imprint that was extremely popular, great quality, and had a lot of impact, especially in the eastern part of the U.S. and Canada and the Maritimes, was Gold Key Comics. Now, Gold Key Comics was an imprint of the American company Western Publishing, who used to publish comics brand for quite a number of years, and it was created for comic books and distributed to newsstands. It was also known as Whitman Comics, and it operated from 1962 to 1984, which was kind of the downturn in the modern comic book era. Now, it was created in 1962, like I said, when its parent company, Western Publishing, switched to in-house publishing rather than packaging content for branding and distribution by its business partner, Dell Comics. Hoping to make their comics more like traditional children's books, initially eliminated the panel line borders using just the panel, with its ink and artwork evenly edged but not bordered by a container line. Within a year, they had reverted to using ink panel borders and oval balloons. The experimented with numerous formats, and the reprints weren't working. But when you got into uh, licensed properties and original titles, which some of them were spun off to Dell's four color series, were done as standalone. Now, it maintained a decent sales number throughout the 1960s thanks to its offering of many titles based upon popular TV series of the day, as well as numerous titles based upon the competitors Walt Disney Studios and Warner Brothers, which had numerous animated properties. Now, it was also the first company to publish comic books based upon the NBC series Star Trek, while some titles, such as Star Trek and The Twilight Zone, were published for many years. Many other licensed titles were characterized by short runs, sometimes publishing no more than one or two issues. Now, Gold Key considered suing over the similarly themed television series Lost in Space for its resemblance to the pre-existing Space Family Robinson, but decided the business relationship with CBS and Irving Allen was more important than any monetary reward resulting from such a suit. Now, soon after, they started launching titles with the Hanna-Barbera characters, with the direct adaptations of episodes of the program, because the studio had approval rights when the people there could get picky about the material. But they rarely bothered looking at an issue after the first one, basically because they couldn't say, a plot taken for the show was inappropriate because it was just adaptation. Now, unfortunately, it lost several properties over the years, including the King's Feature Syndicate characters, including Popeye, Flash Gordon, the Phantom, etc., to the unofficial number four at the time, Carlton Comics, in the 1966. Now, they did lose some Hanna-Barbera characters to Carlton in 1970 and Star Trek to Marvel in 1979. Now, the stable of writers and artists were quite good through the Gold Key family, including of all people Frank Miller, whose first published comic book artwork was in 1978 in the Twilight Zone magazine. Now, unfortunately, by the 1980s, all these great titles basically faded out because the mid 80s were getting to be more expensive to publish comic books. And a Gold Key Whitman comic book was going in the 50, 60 cents range, which when they're appealing to children. But what they tried to as well to do to Whitman bag comics where they were publishing the comic books for toy store sales. Now, original series in the Gold Key family included Dr. Solar, Brothers of the Spear, Magnus Robot Fighter, a great title, Mighty Samson, The Cult Files of Dr. SPEKTOR, again, Space Family Robinson, Two Rocks and a Stone, one of the best comic books of that era. Now, licensed series included a very, very eclectic group, including Adam 12, The Addams Family, Battle of the Planets, Beep Beep the Roadrunner, which of course is the Roadrunner from Warner Brothers, Beetle Bailey, Bonanza, Boris Karloff's Fields of Mystery, Bull Bullwinkle and Rocky, Daffy Duck, Dark Shadows, Doc Savage, Flash Gordon, The Flintstones, Girl from Uncle, all the Hanna-Barbera titles, Happy Days, westerns like Have Gun Will Travel, I Spy, Korak Son of Tarzan, another great title, Happy Days, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, the Pink Panther spin-off, The Inspector, a comic book of the Avengers British series, Little Lulu, The Lone Rangers, Looney Tunes, The Man from Uncle, Mickey Mouse, of course, Mighty Mouse, The Munsters, My Favorite Martian, Ripley's Believe It or Not, another great title. I talked about it in a previous podcast. Scooby-Doo, again, Star Trek, Tarzan, The Three Stooges, Tweety Sylvester, Twilight Zone, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, Walt Disney Comics Digest, Wild Wild West, Woody Woodpecker, and Yosemite Sam. So you can see there was many, many titles that were put together for distribution. Now, why Gold Key basically failed, a lot of the Gold Key imprints were sold in different companies throughout the years. And what really stood out with the Gold Key is not only the upper left-hand corner where Gold Key, you know, is going to mean quality. Now, when it really went downhill is when Mattel, the Own Western Publishing, eventually sold it off in '83, and by '84 it was pretty well out the window. Although the Whitman logo is kind of confusing to some because it was almost like the Whitman had a level of quality regarding puzzles and different games and stuff like that. Didn't carry over to comic books because all they were doing really was putting the Whitman logo in where the Gold Key logo should have been. But for me, over the years, I've bought maybe 1,500 Gold Key originals and reprints. And of course, what really stands out for me, like a lot of people, is the Turok, Mighty Samson, Dark Shadows. Not as good on the horror comics as Carlton was, but who can be? Carlton had, Ditko and a few other key ones for them. But Gold Key, like I said, overall, the dozens of titles, high quality, a good price, and it was. If you couldn't get a Marvel comic book, you could easily be brought to another world, literally, with Gold Key. And again, all the Gold Key comics had a quality to them. Some had painted covers, some had photo covers, which have made them quite valuable. So if anybody has an opportunity to go to Strange Adventures or any other comic book shop throughout Canada and the States, you could probably find a lot of Gold Key issues, that $2 to $10 range. They're well-read comic books. It's very hard to find Gold Key comic books in a high, mint state, because with the children's imprints, the Warner Brothers and the Disney comic books, they were well-read and well-loved. And, some of the covers are just tremendous, especially the adaptations of the Hanna-Barbera, because if a lot of people remember, the Hanna-Barbera comic, episodes now are rarely seen on TV. But now the comic books are sometimes more available than the episodes that originally aired. I know CBC and CTV and the French channel showed them a lot in the past, but only the Gold Key comic versions remain. But some of the Gold Key comics are very, very valuable. Like I said, the Star Trek and Dark Shadows, and some of the, the Twilight Zone ones. Twilight Zone's very interesting, and some of the books are adaptations of the episodes, and some are kind of reinterpretations of some of the episodes. Plus, some of the Gold Key magazines, especially the thriller and horror ones, had like short stories with it, and those alone gave added value. So, again, on this COVID Wednesday, we're still in a situation in the States as well with the protests across the States. Some in Canada, we wish everybody good luck on the front lines. Be safe, wash your hands, and make sure to be careful out there. Say like Hill Street Blues, let's be careful out there. Have a good evening. Bye.